Many people believe that within each person there is a soul, an invisible entity that controls all thoughts, emotions, and actions. They believe this soul is the true self, and after the body dies, it leaves the physical form to be reincarnated into another life, carrying with it karma and memories from past lives. This is a common perspective in many religions and spiritual systems worldwide. However, if we examine this more closely through the lens of biology, neuroscience, and real-world experiences, does there truly exist a self that stands apart from the physical body to control everything? Or is everything we call I, will, or soul merely the result of energy flows operating within a living body? Just as electricity running through a fan makes it spin, or through a light bulb makes it glow. This discussion will attempt to approach the issue from a different perspective, neither hastily dismissing nor relying on unverified beliefs. To examine, does the soul truly exist as an entity separate from the physical body? Or is the physical body itself the foundation that creates the human self? Where do thoughts originate? To answer whether a soul controls our thoughts, let's first address the question, where do thoughts come from? When it rains, you don't need to try to hear the sound of raindrops. The pattering sound automatically reaches your ears. You don't need to command your eyes to look at the rain. The image of water droplets falling from the sky hits your retina, and you simply know it's happening. Then a thought may arise, oh, it's raining. In this case, the thought doesn't appear out of nowhere, but is triggered by the sound or image received by your senses. Similarly, when you touch ice, a cold sensation immediately arises. You don't think up that sensation. When you step into a hot room, your skin automatically registers the heat. Sensations of hot, cold, wet, or dry all come from touch. The aroma of coffee might remind you of a morning long ago. That's your sense of smell activating memory. A foul odor triggers discomfort, and you don't choose that reaction. Even the bitterness of coffee or the sweetness of fruit is a natural response, not something anyone creates through willpower. All these things, images, sounds, sensations, smells, tastes, memories, are not chosen or created by you. They arise from external stimuli entering through your senses, automatically generating thoughts and accompanying emotions. So, have you ever truly initiated a thought entirely independent of external influences or past experiences? Try it. Close your eyes and think of something. You'll find yourself hesitating. What should I think about? You might pick something random, a cat, a banana, an old story. But if you look closely, you'll realize the intention to think of something came from my suggestion, and it arose from the sound your ears heard. Even if you deny it or, days later, try to think of something more independent, the motivation to do so still stems from this moment, from the words I'm saying today. Because ultimately, if you had never been prompted to observe your thoughts, you might never have asked yourself, where do thoughts come from? Thoughts are a continuous flow, not initiated by you. You may believe you control your thoughts, but in reality, you only have a limited degree of freedom within the framework of pre-existing conditions, primarily past experiences, habits, emotions, and your environment. From an energy perspective, every thought or emotion is a pattern of energy flow without an absolute starting point. When a sound occurs, it indicates an energy flow from the outside vibrating your eardrum. When your skin touches something hot, it means thermal energy from the object is transferred to your body. When you see light, it's because electromagnetic energy hits your retina. All these are energy flows from the environment into your nervous system, creating sensations that then give rise to thoughts. In other words, there is a continuous energy flow between you and the world around you, and your thoughts are part of that flow. They are always influenced by circumstances. When it's hot, you think differently. When it's cold, you think differently. When you're happy or sad, sleep-deprived or healthy, your thoughts shift accordingly. The mind is never truly independent. If someone insists there must be a starting point for thoughts or the universe, the next question is always, what created that starting point? And then, what created the thing that created it? An endless chain of questions with no final answer. What gives rise to thoughts and emotions? The energy flow operating within the human body primarily originates from sunlight. It enters the body through various pathways: direct light absorbed through the skin and eyes, food synthesized by plants through photosynthesis, and the air we breathe every second. In spiritual traditions, this energy has different names. In India, it's called prana. In China, it's called qi. In modern Western contexts, it's sometimes referred to as biofield or bioenergy. But if we all absorb the same type of energy from the same environment, eating similar food, breathing the same air, living in similar conditions, why do people think differently, feel differently, and have distinct personalities? The same energy flow passing through two different bodies results in different responses. Why? Is it because of a soul controlling it? There's only one logical answer. The difference lies in the structure of the physical body. Just as a single electric current passing through two different devices, a fan and a light bulb, makes the fan spin and the bulb glow. The same energy source, but due to different mechanical structures, they manifest different functions. A fan doesn't need a fan soul energy to spin, nor does a bulb need a bulb soul energy to glow. It's the shape, structure, and internal arrangement of the device that determines how it operates. Humans are the same. From the outside, human bodies appear relatively similar. But at a subtle level, cells, neural tissues, neural connections, blood vessels, hormones, organ ratios, each person is a unique structure. Look at fingerprints. The difference is immediately clear. The human nervous system, a highly complex network of billions of interconnected neurons, is like the circuitry of an intricate machine. That physical structure determines how energy flows, giving rise to thoughts, emotions, personality, and behavior. Memory, the foundation of perception and personality, also doesn't exist separately from matter. Modern neuroscientists have discovered that memory and thoughts are not intangible or mysterious, but are the result of specific activities in the brain. Specifically, they arise from the connections and signaling between billions of neurons. When a thought arises, multiple brain regions related to sensation, imagery, sound, language, memory, emotions, etc., simultaneously fire electrical signals and exchange neurotransmitters. For example, when you think of rain, certain brain regions tied to touch, the cool sensation, vision, the image of rain, hearing, the sound of raindrops, memory, past experiences of rain, and emotions, feelings of sadness or romance, all activate together. Each region involves thousands of neurons, creating a unique neural map. A thought, whether as simple as "it's raining" or as complex as a childhood memory, is the result of synchronized activity among multiple groups of neurons. Different memories are stored as distinct patterns of connections between neurons. To visualize this, it's akin to how a QR code stores information through a unique arrangement of black and white dots encoding digital data. Let's further analyze what emotions are. Think about moments of anger. Doesn't your heart beat faster, your breathing quicken, and a tightness form in your chest? In essence, emotions are merely the stronger or weaker than normal activity of certain bodily organs. For instance, anger is a state where the heart beats faster, the liver generates more heat, the lungs breathe more rapidly, and the brain prioritizes a fight or flight response. If you look closely, all these are just temporary amplifications of familiar biological functions, nothing extraordinary. Thus, emotions are simply variations in the speed or intensity of energy flow through bodily organs compared to a normal state. In practical experiments, humans have implanted electronic chips in the brain to record and decode neural signals, essentially reading thoughts. Moreover, they can do the reverse, send electrical or magnetic signals into the brain to alter emotions, intentions, or even create simulated thoughts, such as hearing non-existent voices or feeling unprompted happiness. Techniques like deep brain stimulation, DBS, or transcranial magnetic stimulation, TMS, have been used to treat depression, anxiety, and Parkinson's disease by directly stimulating specific brain regions with electromagnetic signals, instantly altering a patient's mental state. All this clearly shows that thoughts, emotions, and will are merely measurable and adjustable electromagnetic energy fluctuations with no soul involved. Memory loss, dreams, past lives, the plasticity of the nervous system. Memory, the foundation of perception and personality, doesn't exist independently of matter, but is the result of specific brain activity. Billions of neurons connecting and signaling to one another. When a thought is repeated or accompanied by strong emotions, the neural connections involved are strengthened. This is the basis for long-term memory. Neurons that fire together are more likely to activate each other in the future. In other words, a thought is stored by imprinting it into the network of neural connections. Frequently used connections are maintained and reinforced, while rarely used ones may be pruned. It's like a path in the grass becoming clearer as more people walk on it. But if fewer people pass through, grass grows back, obscuring the trail. This means memory is always reconstructive, not absolutely accurate, and can be influenced by emotions, current context, or time. Rain doesn't always evoke romantic memories. It might remind you of flooded streets or a stalled car. Memory isn't a fixed object, but a dynamic state, dependent on the strength and quality of neural connections in the network. When neural connections weaken due to time, aging, stress, or brain damage, memories fade or disappear. This is why you might forget a lesson after months of not using it, or fail to recall the face of an old acquaintance after years. Forgetting doesn't happen because the soul loses information, but because the neural network in the brain weakens, disconnects, or is replaced by new patterns. This mechanism also explains why memories can change over time or be distorted by emotions, because each recall reactivates the old pattern, and each reactivation is an opportunity for the brain to alter parts of the memory. Images seen in dreams, meditation, or hypnosis are the result of reconstructing past experiences, mixed with movies you've watched and your vivid imagination during idle moments. In reality, there are no past lives. As a child, I often dreamed I could fly, soaring everywhere at night, only to wake up startled when I got tangled in power lines, hit a roof, or crashed into a truck. If past lives existed, I was probably a bird in Angry Birds in my previous life. Thanks to the plasticity of the nervous system, its ability to restructure and form new neural connections, humans can change themselves. Old habits, or so-called karma, ingrained in the neural network through years of repetition, can gradually weaken if we stop reinforcing them. Meanwhile, consistently practicing new, positive behaviors, thoughts, and reactions allows the nervous system to create new pathways, making those responses more natural and sustainable over time. This mechanism shows that the self is not a fixed, unchanging entity, but a continuous process, always evolving. Every time you plant a thought in your mind, even a small, repeated one, you're subtly shaping your neural network, reprogramming yourself. Negative thoughts, if repeated, gradually become ingrained as negative response patterns. Conversely, positive, compassionate, forgiving, or letting go thoughts, if nurtured consistently, create new neural pathways, enabling calmer, wiser responses in life. The self is tied to the physical body. When a part of the brain is lost due to accidents, disease, or surgery, people may lose memories, undergo personality changes, or even alter their behavior. In some cases, organ transplants from one person to another can lead to changes in emotions, habits, or personality tendencies, phenomena that modern medicine is beginning to document and study. If an unchanging soul existed, why would losing a part of the body also erase related memories? The answer? The self is directly tied to the physical body. In reality, each person's physical body functions uniquely. Though outwardly similar, internally, from organ structures to the nervous system, each person is a distinct world. The clearest example is the autonomic nervous system, with its two branches, sympathetic and parasympathetic. Some people are dominated by the sympathetic system, easily excitable, competitive, quick to react. Others lean toward the parasympathetic system, softer, more compromising, slower to react. Although both individuals use the same energy, absorbed from food, air, and the environment, their bodies respond to that energy differently. The heart of a competitive person often beats faster, stronger, and is more easily triggered by adrenaline. In contrast, a calm person's heart beats steadily, less reactive to external stimuli. Men's brains generally respond less to the happiness hormone serotonin than women's, leading some to seek stimulants to fill that mental void. Another clear example is insulin in people with diabetes. When two people eat a meal containing sugar or starch, absorbing the same energy, a healthy person's body produces insulin normally to regulate blood sugar, while a person with type 2 diabetes responds poorly or ineffectively to insulin, despite producing it. The reason lies in the impaired or weakened structure and function of their endocrine system, particularly the pancreas and insulin receptors. A clear biological example showing that masculine or feminine selves don't come from a soul, but from the physical body, is the experiment of cross-sex hormone therapy, injecting testosterone into female bodies or estrogen into male bodies. In practice, this isn't just an experiment, but a key part of hormone replacement therapy for transgender individuals. When a woman starts receiving regular testosterone doses, her body undergoes noticeable changes: a deeper voice, increased muscle mass, thicker hair, oilier skin, cessation of menstruation, and notably, behavioral shifts. Many become more assertive, competitive, and less emotionally sensitive. Conversely, when a man receives estrogen and suppresses testosterone, his body feminizes. Breasts develop, muscles soften, fat redistributes in a feminine pattern, skin becomes smoother, and, importantly, emotions soften, with greater empathy and passivity. Historical evidence further illustrates that the self is directly influenced by biology, the case of eunuchs in feudal times. When their testicles, the primary source of testosterone, were removed, their bodies no longer developed pronounced masculine traits: weaker muscles, higher-pitched voices, softer behaviors, and more volatile emotions. Many even spoke, acted, and felt more like women. Thus, simply altering hormones, a natural chemical component of the body, can transform emotions, thought patterns, behaviors, and even self-perception. If the masculine self or feminine self were determined by an unchanging soul, changing hormones wouldn't cause such dramatic shifts in thought and behavior. This shows that no soul directs different energy flows to control the body and create different states. The same energy flowing through different bodies produces different manifestations. There is no independent soul energy detached from the physical body, standing outside to control the human. What we call the self, personality, will, or ego is simply the manifestation of energy flowing through the highly complex physical structure of the body. When a person's heart stops and breathing ceases, meaning the biological energy flow in the body is interrupted, they enter a near-death or clinically dead state. In many cases, if chest compression and respiratory support are applied in time, the energy flow can be restored, allowing the person to revive. But if not resuscitated promptly, within just a few minutes, brain cells begin to die, organs shut down, and life cannot be restored. The person dies completely. Near-death experiences reported by many stem from this. When the heart stops but the brain hasn't fully died, energy flows still operate in the brain, creating hallucinations. All this clearly shows there is no soul standing outside controlling life, nor is there a deity that can intervene to bring someone back to life. Life or death depends entirely on the physical state and the biological energy flow operating within the body.